All right, so right off the bat, we're going to be playing out of A minor pentatonic. So let's start off really simple, and what we can do, we're going to stay on two strings and just kind of milk them. What we're going to do, if we're playing an A minor, we would slide on D from the 5th to the 7th fret. Right off the bat, we're targeting our A note. Then we're going to go to the minor third, which is the G 5th fret. Okay, so we got. So we're going to go here. And then back to our root, which would be the 7th fret of the D string. So we got. Now we're going to do the stack. Okay, so we got. We're going to go 7G, 7D, and then we're going to go back to the G string, 5 to 7, and then back to our root note. That's another thing I really noticed a lot when I started to study players who I really like doing the pentatonic scale. They're always coming back to one of those chord tones to draw the ear into the melody of the chord progression going behind the music, right? Whether it's a single bass line or a band or whatever, or keyboards, really comes back to home base. Right, so one more time, sliding in. Now, when I was referring to those quarter note bends earlier, watch when I go to the G string, 5th fret. That little subtle tweak. Each time I go back to that 5th fret, give it a little tug, show it who's boss, and let your inner soul ooze from your fingertips onto your fretboard so you get that cool greasy guitar look. All worn out. And yes, this is foam. For all you Telecaster players out there, this is just a complete side note. If you were wondering and you're like, what is on his guitar? That is to stop the ring from Telecasters. Up here, they get this overtone thing going on, and my buddy's like, stick some foam up there. So, complete side note. But if you're recording with a Telecaster and you're like, what is that sound? Now you know how to get rid of it. Okay, so back to the DVD. Now, what we're going to do from there, carry on the same theme, but come down into that kind of Gibbons how register down here. We'll do the same kind of thing, stacking, but we'll come out of our riff. Okay, so what we'll do is as soon as we get back to it, we'll transition and go down to D5, and then we'll go A7 to 5. Okay, so we got. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slide. Okay, so we've gone here, and then we slide to that note with our third finger. But it's not a, so it's kind of like a slur. You're sliding right into it. You know, you're just so greasy, and you got so much soul, you just can't even stay in one spot. You just, I'm just kidding. All right, so we got. Okay, so once we get down to the C note, we're going to do our stack on the 5th fret, E and A. And then we're going to go 3, 5, and then back to E5. Now, if you've noticed, we basically did the same thing we did in our previous part of the riff, but we did it in a lower octave. So now we're coming in, we're going. And then that would be where you would slide into the 5 chord or your little finishing riff. And then you would go back into the 1 chord. So you can use that as a transitional riff. Now, let's stick in that same spot, but go over a couple basic ideas, and we're going to start bending the strings, whole steps. And then what you'll see is when we start jamming to the jam tracks, we'll really get into all sorts of different style of position 1, position 2, position 3 type of riffs and different, versions of those kind of riffs. But let's start off really basic and get some fundamental bending riffs underneath our fingers.